Jai Sri Krishna. In Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 6, the conversation between Sri Nārada Muni and Vyāsadeva Goswami. Here in the verse 34, Sri Nārada Muni said to Vyāsadeva Goswami that it is personally experienced by me, Sri Nārada Muni, that those who are always full of care and anxieties due to desire contact of the sense with their object can cross the ocean of nescience on a most suitable boat. The constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of a Godhead. So here it is mentioned by Sri Narada Muni that etat deya atrura chintanam matra sparaschaya mohu bhava sidhu plavya drashto haricharya nubharnanam. It means, yeah, the purport is the symptom of a living being is that he cannot remain silent even for some time. He must be doing something, thinking of something, or talking about something. Generally, the materialistic man think and discuss about subjects which satisfy, satisfy their sense. But as these things are exercised under the influence of the external illusionary energy, such sensual activities do not actually give them any satisfaction. On the contrary, they become full with care and anxieties. This is called Maya, and what is not, or what is not. That which cannot give them satisfaction is accepted as an object for satisfaction. Or so Narada Muni, by his personal experience, says that satisfaction for such frustrated beings engaged in sense gratification is to chant always to activities of the Lord. The point is that the subject matter only should be changed. No one can check the thinking activity of a living being, nor the feeling, willing, or working processes. But if one wants actual happiness, one must change the subject matter only. Instead of talking of the politics of a dying man, one might discuss the politics administered by the Lord Himself. Instead of realizing activities of the cinema artist, one can turn his attention to the activities of the Lord which with his eternal associates with like the Gopis and Lakshmis. The Almighty Personality of God, headed by His causeless mercy, descends to the earth and manifests activities almost on the line of the worldly man, but at the same time extraordinarily because He is Almighty. He does so for the benefit of all conditioned souls so that they can turn their attention to transcendence. By doing so, the conditioned soul will gradually be promoted to the transcendental position and easily cross the ocean of nescience, the source of all misery. This is stated from personal experience by such an authority as Narada Muni, Sri Narada Muni. And we can have the same experience also if we begin to follow in the footsteps of the great sage, the dear most devotee of the Lord. So here in the next verse, Sri Narada Muni telling to Vyāsadeva Goswami that it is true that by practicing restraint of the sense by the yoga systems, one can get relief from the disturbance of the desire and lust, but this is not sufficient to give satisfaction to the soul. For this satisfaction is derived from devotional service of the personality of Godhead. So here it is mentioned by Sri Narada Muni that Yamavdhivri yoga pratheha kamarobhata manoho Mukunda Sarve Sevaya Yadvata tat madha madha na samyati. It means the purpose is yoga aims at controlling the sense by practicing the mystic process of bodily exercise in sitting, thinking, feeling, willing, concentrating, meditating, and at last being merged into transcendence. One can control the sense. The sense are considered like the venomous serpent, and the yoga system is just to control them. On the other hand, Sri Narada Muni recommended another method of controlling the sense of a transcendental loving services of a Mukunda, the personality of a Godhead. By his experience, he says that devotional service to the Lord is more efficient and practical than the system of artificially controlling the sense. In the service of the Lord Mukunda, the sense are transcendently engaged. Thus, there is no chance of their being engaged in sense satisfactions. The senses want some engagements. To check them artificially is no check at all, because as soon as there is some opportunity for enjoyment, the serpent like sense will certainly take advantages of it. There are many such instances in history, just like Vishwamitra Muni falling a victim to the beauty of Menaka. But Thakura Haridas was allured at midnight by the well-dressed Maya, and still she could not induce that great devotee in her trap. The whole idea is that without devotional service of the Lord, neither the yoga system nor dry philosophical speculation can ever become successful. Pure devotee service of the Lord without being tinged with fruitive work, mystic yoga, or speculative philosophy is the foremost procedure to attain self-realization. Such pure devotional service is transcendental in nature, and the system of yoga and jnana are subordinate to such a process. When the transcendental service, devotional service is mixed with the subordinate process, it is no longer transcendental but is called mixed devotional service. Sarila Vyāsadeva, the author of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, will gradually develop all these different systems of transcendental realization in the text. Then in the next verse, Sri Narada Muni telling to Vyasadeva Goswami that, O Vyasadeva, you are free from all sins. Thus, I have explained my birth and activities for self realization as you asked. All these will be conducive for your personal satisfaction also. So, here it is mentioned by Sri Narada Muni that सर्वं तद्इदम् अख्यातं यत् प्रोक्तोऽहं तभ्ययज्ञः जन्म कर्म रहस्यं मे भवत्यचत्मतोषाणाम्. Here it is mentioned the process of devotional activities from the beginning to the stage of transcendence is all duly explained to satisfy the inquiry of Vyāsadeva. Narada has explained how the seeds of devotional service were sown by transcendental association and how they gradually developed by hearing the sages. The result of such hearing is detached from worldliness. So much so that even a small boy could receive the death news of his mother, who was his only caretaker, as the blessing of God, and at once he took the opportunity to search out the Lord. A sincere urge for having an interview with the Lord was also granted to him. Although it is not possible for anyone to see the Lord with modern age, he also explained how by execution of a pure devotional transcendental service one can get rid of a fruitive action of accumulated work and how he transformed his material body into a spiritual one. The spiritual body is alone able to enter into the spiritual realm of the Lord, and no one but a pure devotee is eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. All the mysteries of a transcendental realization are dually experienced by Sri Narada Muni himself, and therefore, by hearing such an authority, one can have some idea of a result of a devotional life, which are hardly delineated even in the original text of the Vedas. In the Vedas and Upanishads, there are only indirect hints to all this. Nothing is directly explained there, and therefore Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the matured fruit of all the Vedic trees of the literatures. So here in the next verse, again Sri Narada Muni said to Vyāsadeva Goswami that Sutta Goswami said, thus addressing Vyasadeva, Sarila Narada Muni took leave of him and vibrating on his Veena instrument, he left to under at his free will. So here it is mentioned, Sutta Vacha Ivam Sambhaisya Bhagavano Narada Bhasya Sutam Amatre Bhinam Ranayam Yayu Yadaschurko Munihi. It means here the purport is every living being is anxious for full freedom because that is his transcendental nature, and this freedom is obtained only through the transcendental service of the Lord, illusioned by the external energy. Everyone thinks that he is free, but actually he is bound up by the law of nature. A conditioned soul cannot free move from one place to another, even on this earth, and what to speak of another planet to another, one planet to another. But a full-fledged free soul like Narada, always engaged in chanting the Lord's glory, is free to move not only on the planet, on this planet, but also any part of the universe, as well as in any part of the spiritual sky. We can just imagine the extent and unlimitedness of his freedom, which is as good as that of Supreme Lord. There is no reason or obligation for his traveling, and no one can stop him from his free movement. Similarly, the transcendental system of devotional service is also free. It may or may not develop in particular person even after he undergoes all the details formulas. Similarly, the association of the devotee is also free. One may be fortunate to have it, or one may have it even after thousands of endeavors. Therefore, in all sphere of devotional service, freedom is the main pivot. Without freedom, there is no execution of a devotional service. The freedom surrender to the Lord does not mean that the devotee becomes dependent in every respect. To surrender unto the Lord through the transparent medium of a spiritual master is to attain completely freedom of the life. So here in this verse, it is clearly mentioned how to get the freedom from this material world. So in the next verse, it is clear. It is concluding the sixth chapter, the conversation between Sri Narada Muni and Vyāsadeva Goswami, that all glory and success to Sri Narada Muni because he glorifies the activities of the personality of a Godhead, and so doing he himself takes pleasure and also enliven all the distressed soul of the universe. So here it is mentioned, Oho Devasrina Dhyanoyam Yat Kritanam Sangha Jnanam Adhyana Evam Tantra Ramayate Aturam Jagat. It means here the purport is Sri Narada Muni play on his instrument to glorifying the transcendental activity of the Lord and to give relief to all miserable living entities of the universe. No one is happy here within the universe, and what is felt as happiness is Maya illusion. The illusionary energy of the Lord is so strong that even Hog, who lives on 50 stood feet happy, feels happy. No one can be truly happy within the material world. Sarila Narada Muni, in order to enlighten the miserable inhabitants, wander everywhere. His mission is to get them back home, back to Godhead. That is the mission of all genuine devotee of Lords, following the footsteps of that great sages. So here it is uh, mentioned that if if a person glorifying the supreme personality of a Godhead or the glorifying the pastimes of the supreme personality of a Godhead, not only he will happy, but also the not only the in front person will be happy, but also a person who is describing it, he will get satisfied, he will get a unconditional pleasant. Thus the end of a Bhakti Vedanta prospect of a vast chanto, chapter 6 of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, enlightened, entitled Conversation between Nārada and Vyāsadeva. Jai Jagannath, Jai Sri Krishna.